Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Naama and MaDFroG here on Scrap Station. We have MaDFroG spawning as the blue Zerg player over here. Meanwhile, we have Naama spawning over here as the red Terran here at the 3 o'clock position. So it should be a pretty interesting matchup. Terran versus Zerg. Want to see what's going to be happening here. A lot of players have been really been crying foul against Terran recently, but I'm starting to feel that Terran is starting to that Zerg is starting to swing back and be able to deal with the Terran mech ball a little bit more. We'll see how this particular game goes. And MaDFroG now continuing to just train up some drones. We'll see if he tries to go for no, not going to do the extractor trick, going for that Overlord at 9, getting another harvester there. So we should see MaDFroG at we'll be able to get to 12 over 18 food in just a moment. Back over here, Naama continuing to train SCVs, getting a little bit ahead on the SCV count, but MaDFroG will be able to quickly surpass him as he's able to train 2 drones at once with that whole entire larva ability, and then be able to throw down that spawning pool in just a moment. Naama now going out and doing an early scout with an SCV, meanwhile also getting an early refinery. So an early refinery coming out from Naama should be more of a tech play. Then we should see some sort of factory or a barracks, and then followed by a quick factory, trying to maximize the amount of building time on that factory. Really wants to just be able to hammer out that factory as quickly as possible, perhaps for some Hellion harassment. MaDFroG now over here, seeing that there is no racks, deciding to go for an early hatchery, but MaDFroG, was he able to? Barely able to. Yeah, very nicely done by MaDFroG. MaDFroG juked around that SCV, went into the vents over here to get out of line of sight, and then went back in to lay down that one hatchery. SCV now over here just wandering around the inside of the space. There is that spawning pool. That spawning pool is, however, significantly late. Back over here, the barracks now going to be completed in just a second. As soon as that barracks is completed, we should see a factory thrown down. And also, we need to see a supply depot coming into play. Does that mean that he is going to delay his command center, his orbital command? Yes, it is. That orbital command is going to be a little bit further delayed. Now continuing to train up more and more SCVs, needs to throw down a supply depot. And without that, he's going to be supply locked for quite some time. Over here, hatchery nearing completion, about 2/3 of the way there. Will be able to have no issue. That there is this one SCV now patrolling right here, just constantly watching over that ledge, as now we have a reactor being thrown down. So Naama opening up with an early reactor, and that is a front door seal, although it is very weak. Finally upgrading to an orbital command, and also the supply depot here, trying to throw down, just trying to get as much economy going as possible. The supply depot is going to be a little bit delayed. We should probably see the factory lift off and then try to swap locations with the barracks. Not quite sure. No, gonna go ahead and try to just train up a Hellion, and not quite sure why he didn't lift off unless he really wants to train double Marines, but I can't see that to be the case. So now training up one Hellion, not training anything out of that reactor. Probably should have done that reactor swap there to be able to train up double units. Back over here, MaDFroG now training up 2 queens, one at the main base, one at the hatchery. Does not have a queen yet, and also getting that spine crawler. So an early spine crawler now coming in. One Hellion already on the way, as the factory and that barracks finally doing that swap there, and now a starport coming in. We should probably see double Hellions being trained, but once again, Naama is supply locked, so will take a little bit of time to try to unsupply lock himself, and this is not good news. Taking a look at MaDFroG, MaDFroG is also supply locked as well, but taking the time to throw down spine crawlers. We should probably see a creep tumor at some point. Yeah, creep tumor now coming in to try to get creep down onto this ramp, and then you can use one set of spine crawlers to guard a rather larger choke point, but it also guards this expansion over here. This one Hellion was able to do some harassment, but really not able to get any kills off, as that Queen's Claws was able to do it. Very nicely done. MaDFroG taking those drones and turning them into Vespene geysers, so that the Hellions were unable to deal any real damage. Once the Hellion threat was gone, went ahead and canceled those geysers in order to get more and more mining. So once again, really smart play by MaDFroG, as now we have 3 Hellions trying to do more damage. Spine crawlers now coming in, and those Zerglings are not going to be able to really deal any significant damage. Drones now coming in. 1 drone down, 2nd drone down now. Burn and toast to a crisp. Zerglings coming in as well, maybe able to get a surround off. Needs one more hit on one of those Hellions, and there it is. Hellion getting taken down by that spine crawler. Zerglings trying to get in front. It's kind of like a road rage game right now, as those Hellions trying to drive away from those Zerglings. Zerglings continuing to peck away at those Hellions. Hellions now down into that red damage, and now 2 more Hellions coming in. So an army of 4 Hellions now moving out. So 4 Hellions against this army of Zerglings, not looking very good, but more Zerglings coming in as well. Will those Hellions be able to get more splash damage off onto those Zerglings? A little bit of a crisscross damage there, a little bit of a nice splash. 3 more Zerglings going down, and now a lot of Zerglings in the red. Will those Zerglings be able to outrun those what happened? Yeah, outrun those Zerglings, or Hellions be able to outrun, or Zerglings outrun those Hellions? No, Zerglings able to move faster with that speed thing boost, and now able to come back into play. Now we have Overlords, Creep Tumors continuing to be spawned and going to move further down this ramp over here. There is a lot of Hellions now, 5 Hellions moving out. And really have to see some brilliant Hellion micro, and now Hellions into Banshees. So a very, very nice strategy, saving up that gas for Banshees, not even bothering with that Infernal Pre-Igniter as those Hellions engaging against those Zerglings. Will those Hellions be able to deal more damage? Not quite sure, as those Hellions are fairly low, trying to micro them so that the ones with higher hit points are in the front. There are a couple of Spine Crawlers and 2 Hellions quickly, or 1 Hellion quickly getting taken down. This hatchery has nothing over here, so those Hellions once again getting slashed and torn apart. A group of Zerglings now trying to make their way through, may be able to get into the space. 2 more Hellions now being trained up. Those Zerglings moving very, very quickly, and will be able to run straight into the base of Naama. Naama, however, now seeing this, now going to go ahead and lift off, and he canceled. Oh, that was a big mistake, canceling that Banshee when it was nearly completed, and now trying to land it. That was way too late, and really not able to do any real damage there. That starport losing 60 units of time, essentially trying to build up that Banshee, and now that starport in the air, not even landing. So reinforcements still coming in, orbital command being upgraded, 1 Banshee in the air, so that Banshee was able to come out and continuing to deal more and more damage. Banshee now going through, getting 15 kills, taking down a lot of these Zerglings. Starport down over here, and now one of these supply depots make it, taking down more Zerglings trying to come in. SCVs fighting their way through that whole entire Zergling line, and now this supply depot is down. Both sides taking heavy losses. Harvester count for Naama at 17 compared to the harvester count for MaDFroG, which is at 10. And I must have missed that first Banshee that went over. 1 Banshee was able to come over earlier as these Zerglings were trying to pressure and able to break through that front door. There is 1 Banshee sitting here, not getting repaired though, and now 2 Hellions on this on the other side of this wall perhaps will be able to come in. Yeah, and now starport once again landing back down, needs to get this starport back over here to get more Banshees. Banshees desperately needing to be trained. For some reason, not building a barracks here, throwing down a tech lab, and that's going to further delay. Now we have an orbital command floating in the air above that natural expansion. And now army wise, we see 600 army for Naama against the 250 for MaDFroG. MaDFroG most likely just power droning now, trying to get more and more drones. Yeah, you can see the production tab, 3, 4, 5 drones now being, or 3 drones now being trained again, trying to get back into this game. Baneling nest is down, and we are at tier 2, so we should probably see some Hydralisk in a short while. Back over here, Hellions continuing to be trained as a starport, now training up more Banshees. The cloak research has been completed. A second starport could be thrown down to try to help with that Banshee harassment. And there is 1 Banshee sitting over here. It is cloaked, sitting with 27 kills. So yeah, Banshees all throughout the map, getting a lot of kills, doing a lot of harassment. So those Queens unable to snipe down those Banshees over here. The Banshee, I do not see any Queens. So Queens were taken down as well. No, Queens sitting over here to the north. Perhaps we'll see some transfusions. Overseer sticking close to those Queens just in case the Banshee does return. Another Banshee coming back, and now gonna go ahead and head on in and cloak. A third Queen now coming in. Perhaps more Queens need to be trained, as now this another Banshee trying to gather up more kills, getting up 1 kill already, 2 kills. Overseer now coming over, 3 Queens trying to get underneath it. That Banshee already very low on energy, will not be able to get any significant damage. And now there's 1 Banshee over here, perhaps should be putting pressure just on the hatchery itself. And if he can get pressure on the hatchery, no, does not want to reveal his hand, as there's a army of Hellions sitting down here. So a nice army of Hellions now macroing more and more Marines, and now a tech lab being thrown and being built by this barracks over here, as a 3rd Banshee now moving out. So 3 Banshees, each of them taking a different location on this map, and now we have an evolution chamber in order to get spore crawlers. Those spore crawlers will be able to detect those Banshees and also shoot them down very easily. Now we have Zerglings sitting over here just going to go ahead and guard this ramp. Hellions will not be able to press on through, especially without the Inferno pre-igniter upgrade. No tech lab on the factory in order to get that research, as we have another barracks being produced. Taking a look at the building, Naama now training up one Marauder, one level armor and barracks, and while MaDFroG just continuing the power drone, now training up 10 drones. So you can see that the harvester count of Naama will quickly even, the harvester count of MaDFroG will quickly catch up. There we go, training up 10 drones and more larvae still to be produced. So now getting a large amount of gas. I'm surprised I don't see some sort of spire. With that amount of gas, he would easily be able to pump out a lot of Mutalisk. Banshees now continuing to harass over here. Those queens able to see, now dropping down more creep tumors, wanting to be able to walk more freely between these two locations. This queen should probably try to transfuse a lower hit point queen, as we now have a spine crawler there. Zerglings and Hellions once again engaging on this map, fighting back and forth. We'll see if these Banshees try to join in on the fight as well. It does not look like it. One of those Banshees remaining cloaked, just depleting its energy for no real reason. Another Banshee very, very low on energy as well. The Spore Crawler with a range of 7 will be able to shoot down those Banshees very easily. Now pulling away one Banshee very, very low on hit points, down to 11. And will that queen? No, unable to get that final shot off. That Banshee is at 2 hit points. Back over here, we now have Spore Crawlers and Creep Tumors now making their way through this small land bridge over here between these two locations. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see whether those Zerglings are going to be able to push through here. Production-wise, more drones, siege tech, and now I'm thinking that Naama just should be able to take this game. He has a significant army advantage, significant harvester, or a little bit behind in harvester, but has able to mine more as he's able to get this expansion over here. Now throwing down some missile turrets just in case there are any Mutalisks, but no, not going to get Mutalisks. Going for the level 1 Carapace upgrade, but I do not see any Hydralisks, and now going to tier 3, so MaDFroG may now be going into an Ultralisk build, and Ultralisks recently have just been the bane of Terran players as well. Ultralisks so difficult to stop, even with that really, really strong armor, 5 armor Banshees, unless they're fully upgraded, deal very little damage to them. 7 damage per, or 14 damage per attack against a 500 hit point unit. Obviously, the Ultralisk cannot fight back against that Banshee, but that Ultralisk can just soak up so much damage. And now Marines and Marauders going to move through here, perhaps try to take down this tumor, as there is already creep. As once you see creep, you know that the Terran player knows that the Zerg player has essentially sight on top of that map. So creep tumor is now moving out. This one creep tumor will still be revealed. It'll quickly taking that down, and now this creep tumor as well. So this creep will recede, and as this creep recedes, perhaps they'll try to destroy these destructible rocks. You do not want to move too quickly or fight on creep if you can avoid it. Back over here, Banshees now still being Banshees now gathering up more energy, as we are running off of 3 racks, 1 factory, and 1 starport. Starport now double training medevacs as more units continue to be trained. 1 barrack sitting over here, no tech lab on that building. And I'm surprised that I don't see a Raven. One of the things that I wish for Ravens is that Ravens really need to be used a little bit more by Terran players. Once Terran players use Ravens a little bit more actively, it will be much easier against Protoss and Zerg players, as Ravens are able to shut down Hydralisk and Mutalisk just because of their point defense drones. Point defense drones are very, very strong abilities. They are expensive at 100 energy, but it is really worth it here. Now back over here, we now have a couple of spine crawlers, nothing hiding in the vent, and MaDFroG really needs to produce a lot of units, and there it is, 16 Banelings ready to try to counter this whole entire Marauder army. And Banelings now, more Banelings being produced. Actually, it looks like my timer just went off, so stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between Naama and MaDFroG here on Scrap Station.